Hi, I'm Ling, and I'll be showing you how to make my Christmas snowman baubles with this video tutorial by Hooked On Patterns. You can find a written pattern for this and other free bauble patterns over on my blog. If you prefer to work from printed patterns, you also have the option to purchase the PDF download. I'll add the links in the description box below. These adorable snowman baubles are really quick and easy to make. They're crocheted in 2 pieces as the hats are removable. I prefer little Satsuma style noses on my snowmen, but you could always embroider a triangular carrot nose instead. These were made using chunky or bulky weight acrylic yarn and measure around 3 inches wide. You can use any size yarn or type for this project. Just use a suitable hook size for your chosen yarn. Here's a smaller one I've made using worsted weight yarn and a 5mm hook, which measures around 2.5 inches wide. You need some white yarn for the snowman's head, around 20 yards, and nearly 2 colours for the hat. I'm making a blue hat today. You'll only need around 10 yards of these. I'm using this chunky weight acrylic yarn. You'll want to keep to the same yarn brand for the head and the hat to make sure it'll fit. You'll also need a length of orange yarn for the nose and some thinner black yarn for the mouth. I'm using some cotton yarn here. You'll need a pair of safety eyes. I'm using some 10mm ones, but you can choose a size that's suitable for the yarn you're using. A length of ribbon for your hanging loop, approximately 8 inches long. I'm using this festive silver ribbon, but you can just use some yarn if you don't have any. A stitch marker, a yarn needle, some toy stuffing, scissors, and a hook that's recommended for your yarn or smaller. I'm using a 5.5mm hook. We'll be using the following US crochet stitches and turns for this project. Magic ring. I'll be showing you how I make my magic rings for this video. Slip stitch, single crochet, increase, which is 2 single crochets in the same stitch, decrease, using the invisible decrease technique, which is inserting your hook through the front loops only after following 2 stitches and making a single crochet, double crochet, and we'll be using the back loops only. We'll also be using an invisible join technique to finish off the hat, which I'll show you how to do. We'll start with the snowman's head using white yarn and a magic ring. I like to use a double magic ring, and here's how I make them. Take the end of the yarn and wrap it around your first 2 fingers twice, and then hold the end in place with your pinky. Slide your hook under the 2 strands of yarn and hook the working yarn through and give it a twist as you come up. Now make a chain 1 to lock it into place. Slide the yarn off your fingers, and there you have your magic ring. We will now work round 1 into this magic ring, and then I'll show you how to close it up. For round 1, we'll work 6 single crochets into the magic ring. Now we'll close the magic ring. Give the end a little tug to see which of the 2 strands move, and then grab that strand. Give it a firm tug to close the middle of the magic ring, and then pull on the end again to tighten the second strand. and that's round 1 complete. You should have 6 stitches. For round 2, we'll make an increase in each of our 6 stitches. That's 2 single crochets in the same stitch. We're going to work in continuous rounds, so use a stitch marker to keep track of your first stitch. Make an increase in the first stitch. And then mark the first single crochet. And now continue making an increase in each remaining stitch. You should have a total of 12 stitches at the end of round 2. For round 3, we'll increase in every other stitch. Start with a single crochet in the first stitch and mark the stitch. Make an increase in the next stitch. Now repeat 1 single crochet followed by an increase all the way around. You should be doing this for a total of 6 times to complete the round. You should now have a total of 18 stitches at the end of this round. For round 4, we'll be increasing by 6 again. Start with an increase in the first stitch and mark the first single crochet. Single crochet in each of the next 2 stitches. Now repeat increase followed by 2 single crochets all the way around. Again, you should be doing this for a total of 6 times to complete the round. You should now have a total of 24 stitches. For round 5, we'll increase by 6 once more. Make a single crochet in the first stitch and mark the stitch. Make a single crochet in the next 2 stitches. Now make an increase. Work single crochets in the next 3 stitches. Followed by an increase. Repeat this until the end of round. And that completes round 5. You should now have 30 stitches. For round 6 to 9, we're just going to make a single crochet into each stitch around. Remember to mark the first stitch of each round to keep track. You'll be keeping a stitch count consistent at 30 stitches for each of these 4 rounds. So that's round 6 done. Work the first stitch of round 7 and mark your stitch. Continue with 1 single crochet in each stitch around. I'll leave you to finish this round and to work the next 2 rounds the same way. Hit the pause button here and play again once you've completed round 9. Your piece should now look like this after working round 9. We'll be adding a face here before continuing. Pull the loop on hook long to hold the stitch. We'll start with adding the nose. Take your length of orange yarn and thread it onto your yarn needle. Locate a section of 3 single crochets on round 5, in between 2 increased stitches. Make a stitch across the top of the middle of the 3 stitches. Now make a longer stitch across the base of the 3 stitches, from one of the outer stitches to the other outer stitch. Thread through to the front, coming out at the right of the top stitch. Loop upwards under both of the stitches you've just made. Loop upwards again 4 times. Be careful not to pull too tightly, allow the top and bottom stitches to stay the same distance apart. Finish by threading in through the left of the bottom stitch. Now tie the 2 ends together inside the head to secure and trim off the excess yarn. And that's the nose done. Now we'll add the eyes. Take one of your safety eyes and insert it 1 round up from the nose in line with the outer edge. Now add the second one 2 stitches over. Secure the eyes into place. Take your length of thinner black yarn and thread it onto your yarn needle. Start by threading through at the base of an increase stitch next to your nose. Thread back in one round down, going diagonally inwards, following the stitch below. Thread back out at the base of the increase on the other side of the nose, and in again diagonally one round below. Now join the base of the 2 stitches you've just made to complete the smile. Tie the ends together inside the head to secure and trim off the excess yarn. And that's the face complete. We'll now continue with the rest of the head. Place your hook into the held stitch and continue with round 10. For round 10, we'll start decreasing. We'll use the invisible decrease method. Hook through the front loops only of the next 2 stitches. And make a single crochet. And that's your decrease stitch. Mark this first stitch. Now make a single crochet in the next 3 stitches. Make another decrease. Followed by 3 single crochets. We'll repeat this for the rest of the round. Decrease followed by 3 single crochets. You should have a total of 24 stitches at the end of this round. For round 11, we're going to continue decreasing. Start with making a single crochet in the first stitch and mark the stitch. Make a single crochet in the next stitch. Now make a decrease. Work 2 single crochets, followed by a decrease. Repeat this all the way around. 2 single crochets followed by a decrease. That's the end of round 11. You should now have 18 stitches. Stuff the head here. Pull the loop on hook long to hold the stitch and remove your hook. Take your toy stuffing and fill the snowman's head firmly. Once it feels full, replace your hook into the working loop. For round 12, we're going to continue to decrease. Start with a decrease. Mark the stitch. And work a single crochet in the next stitch. Decrease. Followed by a single crochet. Repeat this to the end of round. Decrease, single crochet. At the end of round 12, you should have 12 stitches. For round 13, we're going to decrease all the way around. You should make a total of 6 decreases for this round. Once you've done that, cut the yarn, leaving a long tail end. Pull the loop on hook up to bring the tail through. Take your piece of ribbon, fold it in half and knot the ends together to create a hanging loop. Thread the tail end through your yarn needle. Weave the tail through the front loops only of the last 6 stitches. Insert the knot of your hanging loop into the top of the head and pull closed around the knot. Stitch across through the middle of the hanging loop to secure and weave in your end. And that's the snowman's head done. Now we'll make the bobble hat. The main hat is made in exactly the same way as we started the snowman's head. Choose your main hat colour and make a magic ring. For round 1, we'll make the 6 single crochets into the magic ring. Close the ring. For round 2, make an increase in each of the 6 stitches. Remember to use a stitch marker to keep track of the first stitch of each round. You now have 12 stitches. For round 3, make a single crochet followed by an increase all the way around. You now have 18 stitches. For round 4, make an increase followed by single crochets in each of the next 2 stitches. Repeat that all the way around. You now have 24 stitches. For round 5, make a single crochet in each of the next 3 stitches, followed by an increase. Repeat that all the way around. you now have 30 stitches. For the next 2 rounds, make a single crochet in each stitch. You should still have 30 stitches. For round 8, make a single crochet in each stitch around, leaving 1 stitch at the end. Make a slip stitch in the last stitch to level off. Now we'll fasten off with an invisible join. Cut the yarn, leaving a couple of inches. Pull the end up through the last stitch. Remove your stitch marker. Thread the tail onto your yarn needle. Thread the tail in through the second stitch along and back through the middle of the last stitch. Pull the yarn to adjust the loop to the same size as the rest of the stitches. You've now created a fake stitch on top of the first stitch. You'll find that the real first stitch will stick out a little at the back. Thread the tail up through the back loop of the real first stitch and weave in the end to secure. Now add the brim using your second colour. Make a slip knot and remove it from your hook. Insert your hook into any stitch of the hat and replace the slip knot onto your hook and pull it through to join your yarn. Now make a slip stitch in each stitch around. Finish in the same stitch as you joined to complete the round. You should have 30 slip stitches. Work this round through the back loops only of the slip stitches, while going through both loops of the main hat stitches. We'll be making double crochets for the brim. Start with chaining 2. This doesn't count as a stitch. We'll skip the first stitch below for now. Starting with the second stitch along, yarn over and insert your hook directly through the middle of the slip stitch V, and you'll naturally come through under the main hat stitches as well. And make a double crochet. Repeat this for each remaining stitch. 1 double crochet in each stitch. Once you've reached the end of the round, make a double crochet into the first stitch that we skipped at the beginning, crocheting over the starting chain 2. Fasten off with an invisible join like before. Using your second colour again, make a mini pom-pom. Hold the end of your yarn with your thumb and wrap the yarn around 2 fingers approximately 20 times. Cut the yarn and cut an extra length approximately 6 inches long. Feed the extra length of yarn through the middle of your 2 fingers and tie it tightly around the middle of the pom-pom. Slide the yarn off your fingers and tie the centre again to secure the knot. Cut through the folded sections of the yarn, keeping hold of the centre tie yarn. Shake it out and trim the pom-pom into a smooth circular shape. Feed the ends of the tie through the top of the hat on either side of the first round. And tie the ends together inside the hat. Weave in the ends to secure and trim off the excess yarn. Now find the front of your hat opposite the brim join and insert your hook 2 rounds down from the top. use your hook to pull the hanging loop through the hat, and then position the hat on your snowman's head to finish. I hope you've enjoyed making my snowman bauble. If so, please give this video a like. If you'd like to see other free patterns made into video tutorials, let me know in the comments below and subscribe for updates. Thanks for watching.